I got to get a plane to Yemen. I didn't know our capital was in Yemen. First of all, thanks for staying. I've watched as much of this as I can. It's been unbelievable. Really, what a fantastic event that you folks have put on at JNS. I want to wish my pastor, Pastor Heggie, 85 years old, a happy birthday. There's too many friends, Sid, there's so many friends. Colonel Kemp, sitting there quietly for once. He's got the greatest sense of humor, and everybody else. I just want to say this to all of our enemies, foreign and domestic. We're not going anywhere. You are. And I mean this. I want to start with Iran. Iran is a psycho regime, a terrorist regime that has said openly and repeatedly that they want to destroy the United States and Israel, and they want to obliterate the Jews. And we're supposed to sit back and pretend it's okay if they get a nuclear weapon? You know, the North Koreans pulled this. Republican administration, Democrat administration, one deal after another, one arrangement after another, as they were cheating, as they were getting support from China and Russia and anybody else they could get it from. We subsidized them for 2 years. We fed their people. And one day they said, look what we have. And now they create nuclear weapons like chickens lay eggs. Meanwhile, we demilitarized the Korean Peninsula. The South Koreans had nuclear weapons. They were ours. Now they have none. North Korea has nuclear weapons. 1994, we did another brilliant deal with the Ukrainians. They were to remove their nuclear weapons and give them to the Russians, and we promised we would defend them. The British promised they would defend them, and the Russians promised they would not invade them. How did that turn out? Two countries that had nuclear weapons, that were allies, no longer have nuclear weapons. And then there was Iraq, 1981, Menachem Begin. He knew that one of my heroes, President Reagan, would say no. No, do not hit their nuclear site. So he hit it without telling the United States. He paid the consequences. Reagan later said that he was right, Begin, and Reagan was wrong. Then there was Syria, 2007, 2008. Most of that happened on George Bush's watch, and Israel took that one out too. So as I look at it, we in the United States are 0 for 2. We negotiated with Pakistan, we negotiated with North Korea. They have nuclear weapons. Israel didn't negotiate with anybody. They took out Iraq's nuclear weapons, they took out Syria's, and they were 2 for 0. We might want to listen to them a little bit about how to handle an enemy that seeks to get nuclear weapons. I don't understand the whole mindset of negotiating with terrorists about anything, at any time, in any place. I really don't. You know why they're called terrorists? Because they don't abide by the rules. And so people who want to cut your throat, they're going to sign this piece of paper and they're going to hold to this piece of paper? Based on what ethic are they going to agree to adhere to this piece of paper? None. None. Terrorists don't think like we do in the West. It's not about negotiating a deal. They'll negotiate till you're blue in the face. They have no compunction about violating their deals, because we are the West, we are the enemy. This is just another step toward going where they want to go. We want to believe otherwise because we don't want to drop bombs. But I want you folks to know, Christians and Jews, forever wars they talk about. Did you open your Bible lately? We're in a forever war. Good versus evil. It never stops. Tyranny versus liberty. It never stops. Now, we may stop, then they win. That's how that works. Now, just because we have foolish administrations from time to time who don't know which wars to get into and which wars not to get into, doesn't mean when you're staring in the eye of a terrorist who wants to blow you off the face of the earth that you capitulate. How stupid is that? By the way, press, you suck. Just wanted to throw that in there, too. You'll take my words and screw around, but I don't care about you either. As a matter of fact, nobody cares about you. Anti-Semitism. For God's sake, shouldn't we be thanking Donald Trump for an all-hands-on government effort to stop this? These Jewish organizations that have come out against what he's doing, who don't know the Due Process Clause from the Equal Protection Clause to any other clause in the Constitution, they are a disgrace. And they do more to contribute to anti-Semitism than anything I can think of. And I would love to unite with them, but they won't unite with me. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and it's spreading in our country, and it's spreading in every other country on the face of the earth. And that's because the terrorist regimes have done a damn good job with exporting their ideology through their people throughout Europe and the United States. It's called revolution by immigration. This is the latest crusade that is taking place throughout the world. I didn't invent this, they invented this. This has been their policy, this has been their practice. It is to conquer through immigration, to conquer the cultures. The West is weak, take advantage of their constitution, take advantage of their parliaments. That is exactly what's going on in the world today. And somehow the press misses the whole thing. I don't know why. But it's true. And they're succeeding. And so when I see liberal Jewish groups coming to the defense of this guy, Camille, who is drenched in Hamas, who is drenched in terrorism, who is drenched in all of this, we have to save ourselves and save those buffoons at the same time, because they're not going to save anybody, certainly not us. And my wife has said, and she's exactly right all these years, for them, the Democrat Party is their religion. The religion is not their religion, and it's true. And as a footnote, I want to say to my wife, Julie, and my stepson, David, I would not be here but for them. I would not be here but for them. I've always been a strong supporter of Israel. My parents were, much like Sid. I always was a Jew. Wasn't sure what it meant, but it didn't matter. And I'd fight over it. But I didn't come to Israel until I was 60 years old. I know I look 42, but I was 60 years old. And it's because of them. And here's the thing. It's called the Holy Land for a reason. Judaism was born, I thought it was here, now I keep thinking it's Yemen. Judaism was born here. Christianity was born here. We're not moving it. We're not changing it. And my father had a lot of common sense. World War II vet, he said, "Can you open your Bible and show me where the Palestinians are?" That's all he needed to know. That's all he cared. He's a tough man. That's all he cared about. We're being overwhelmed with Arab money. We're being overwhelmed with Qatari money. We turn the other cheek and we pretend it's not happening. It's happening. Their money, Malcolm will tell you, his group is working very hard on this. And I'm working on getting one of your guys on TV this weekend. $29 billion, their latest report says, and that doesn't even cover monies that are unreported. It's hard to cope with that, but they're buying politicians, they're buying law firms, they're buying special interests, they're buying media groups, they're buying people in and out of government, they're buying golf tournaments, they're buying tennis tournaments, they're buying TV. It doesn't matter. They're spreading the wealth, and it's having an impact. That's Qatar. Qatar told Hamas, don't settle with the Israelis. We have a plan, a 5-year ceasefire, then we'll give you the hostages back so they can rebuild. That's what they want, so they can play with the minds of the hostage families who suffered enough, and some fools in the United States of America and some of the press. 5-year ceasefire, they say. You butchered our people. There is no friggin' way we're going to go on any kind of ceasefire with you over a long period of time. That's the bottom line. You raped our women. You raped our women. You killed our babies. You decapitated our men. No damn ceasefire, period. Look what's been accomplished in 18 months. Israel, the Prime Minister of Israel, in his government. Look what he's done. Hamas is on its back. If they'd been left alone, Hamas would be eviscerated already. Hezbollah is a weak shadow of itself. Absolute genius and brilliance, how that was done. Incredible. God bless you, honey. But every minute this man has been prime minister, they've tried to destroy him. They've tried a coup. They've tried insurrections. They've tried sabotage. Now they're back to trying another coup. Israel, I hate to tell you, you live in a judicial tyranny. That's exactly what you have right now, a judicial tyranny. You are not a democracy when your court can get involved in every single issue of your government and your Knesset and reverse it because they feel it's unreasonable or whatever ridiculous standards they've created for yourself. Your court has taken over your country, joined by your generals, joined by your media, and it's a disgusting disgrace. You have a Churchill in your midst who is winning this war, who is saving your people, who is fighting off the enemy, and you want to destroy him. Who would do better, Lapid? Ehud Barak, who lasted about 14 seconds and is organizing the opposition with foreign governments and so forth? You have a coalition in this country that is grotesque. We do too. We have the Marxist Islamist coalition on our college campuses right now. That's what it is. Well, Mark, how can that be? Marx preached against religion. The ends justify the means. They'll take care of that later. The way Stalin took care of Trotsky later. That's later. Right now they have a common enemy, the West. A common enemy, the United States. A common enemy, Israel. And they are united against us, they're united against Israel, and they're united against Europe. Europe's just too stupid to figure it out yet, but that's okay. People say to me, you have courage to speak out. I have no courage to speak out. It doesn't take courage, Sid, does it, to speak out? You either do the right thing or you don't do the right thing. You have one life to live. You've got young men and women putting their lives on the line. You've got people who are slaughtered in their homes. Courage? This isn't courage. This is right versus wrong. This is good versus evil. It's that simple. You have a man over here who we love. Courage. He was the commander of the British forces in Afghanistan, Colonel Richard Kemp. That's courage. You've got men and women in here who've served different militaries. That's courage. This is not courage. But I also want to tell our enemies one other thing. Do you actually think you can do what the Persians couldn't do, what the Babylonians couldn't do, what Hitler couldn't do? You think for 2 seconds that you're going to do what these empires couldn't do to us? There's no damn way. It's not going to happen. We're not going anywhere. This country of Israel is a country of intellectuals, really smart people, developers, entrepreneurs, and warriors. This is a warrior nation, not because it wants to be, but because it has to be. And you talk to any young person in Israel, their father has been to wars, their grandfathers has been to wars, all of them are veterans. You walk down the street, they're all, it's not like the United States, where, it's 5% of the population. No, this is all in. They are warriors. I want to thank Benjamin Netanyahu for his service. I want to thank Ron Dermer, a wonderful friend of ours, for his service. Danny Danon, all the other wonderfuls, Leitner, the other folks who are serving this government, who get attacked, who get brutalized, who are blamed for things that are completely out of their control, for the things they have done for this country. Over the last 18 months, it's been incredible. I don't know how many democracies could survive. A small population, overwhelmed with the hate and the terrorism. And it's not just what surrounds them, it's within their own country, the terrorism that takes place. The only country on the face of the earth where the indigenous lands of the people are called a West Bank of some other country. West Bank of Jordan? No, it's the East Bank of Israel. That's what it is. I want the anti-Semites in our country to know something. I'm never going to shut up. Sid is never going to. You're a bunch of punks as far as we're concerned. You're nothing. And finally, so you can go to dinner, we have another problem in our country. We have one political party that has turned on Israel, that has a base within the party that actually supports the terrorists. It is a party that has always been sort of an odd mix of miscreants, malcontents, and reprobates. But now it really is a party of miscreants, malcontents, and reprobates, and Hamas supporters. We have a media that was spoon-fed lies from Hamas and was and perfectly happy to regurgitate it, no matter how many experts, statisticians told them it was wrong. Even Hamas last month told them they were wrong, and they're still spitting out the lies about the data. This is why you're hated, by the way. We love the First Amendment, but we are disgusted with people who are destroying it. That's the truth. Ideology dressed up as journalism is ideology. It's that simple. I don't pretend to be a journalist. By the way, I never want to be a journalist. And then there's the Republican Party. The vast majority of the Republicans support the State of Israel. The vast majority of the American people, 80%, support the State of Israel. Because the American people are good people. And they don't like the fact that terrorist bullies are raping and pillaging and murdering either. We Americans have nothing but contempt for people like that, and we've gone all over the world to destroy regimes that have done that to other people. So we will never, ever stand with the enemy, even though elements in our society do. That's number one. Number two, we have a little problem in the Republican Party. We have some of our own anti-Semites. We have some of our own, I don't know what they, isolationists, that's too nice. Appeasers, that's too nice. Pacifists, that's too nice. We have some of our own people who back these enemies. And that's a fact. And that's a fact. I don't think they're as powerful as some people seem to think. In fact, I think they're getting so damn crazy that they're becoming a smaller and smaller cabal, to be perfectly honest with you, as they go further and further and further out on the limb. I think people are now saying, wait a minute, I thought they were, now they're a little way out there. I think that's beginning to happen with a little help from us, but I think that's beginning to happen. The good news is the enemy is not only losing, but the enemy is going to lose. Those nations that surround Israel, thanks to your people, your military, thanks to most of your people, thanks to your leadership, your tremendous prime minister and his government. He is a wartime leader, seriously, like we haven't seen since Churchill. There's simply no question about it, and the situation's even a little bit more difficult. And then there's the bad news, what will happen with Iran. I can promise you this, as an American who worries about intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads, as an American who saw what this ideology could do on 9/11, right in the center of our biggest city, take down our two biggest buildings, hit our Pentagon. But for the heroes on the other plane, they would have hit either the White House or the Capitol building. People say, oh, that's 7,000 miles away. That's not 7,000 miles away. You out of your mind? They hit us. Israel didn't drag us into that. They hit us. And they're going to keep hitting us. Why do we need an Iron Dome? The president speaks of an Iron Dome. Because somebody might shoot a nuclear missile at us. They don't believe in assured mutual destruction, like the communists do, which is bad enough, like the fascists in Russia do, that's bad enough. These are terrorists. They just believe in destruction, not mutual assured destruction. Their better life is the next life, they think. I think their better life's the next life, too, by the way. So we will watch. We will see what happens. My opinion's not exactly unknown. I just don't think agreements with terrorists seem to hold up very well. And so, but I will say this. If there's somebody who can get a good agreement, at least for a period of time, it's Donald Trump. But my own view is he's not going to last forever. He's not going to be president more than 4 years. We saw what Obama did. We saw what Biden did. We know what these Democrats stand for. That is a dangerous game. It is an extremely dangerous game. And when it comes to nuclear weapons, I don't believe in playing dangerous games. It's that simple. I speak here as an American. There's no way in hell the Iranians should get a nuclear weapon. And there's no way in hell we should pretend that they won't get a nuclear weapon unless we stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. I have a question. I heard it said look, there's a lot of countries that have nuclear programs for energy. How many of those countries are we negotiating with to make sure they don't turn it into nuclear weapons? One. We don't have to negotiate with everybody else because they don't plan on building nuclear weapons. Why is it that we talk about dismantling? Wait a minute. I thought there was a deal that they weren't supposed to be building in the first place. Now we're talking about dismantling. Well, they're not going to agree to dismantle. Well, they're not going to agree to dismantle what? Nuclear weapons. That's what we're talking about. This diplomatic yin-yang doesn't do a lot for me. All this silly semantics doesn't do a lot for me. Dismantling, because they're close to a nuke, as far as I know, what do I know? They may even have a nuke. You don't have to dismantle a domestic energy program. And I'm tired of us hearing from everybody. They have a right to domestic nuclear energy. Actually, they don't. That regime doesn't even have a right to exist, as far as I'm concerned. And to finish, being a warmonger and a neocon and all that, you know. We so-called warmongers are the peace lovers. We're realistic. We don't pretend terrorists aren't terrorists. We don't believe nuclear bombs or nuclear energy. We remember 9/11. We know what these bombs can do from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which is a hell of a lot more damage than happened on 9/11. And anybody who doesn't think those 20 terrorists on 9/11, if they didn't have an atomic weapon or a chemical weapon or biological weapon, and they wouldn't have used it, they would have used it in 2 seconds. You would have had 10 million people dead. This has to be confronted. This has to be fought. We have to have the courage to speak out in a respectful way, a respectful and proper way. That's all I'm saying. Nobody needs to read anything into that. I'm just making a point. Somebody said here earlier, I think it was Sarah, actually, there was no choice, was there? In the last election, it was Donald Trump hands down. That's it, period, no question. That man has done more for American-Israeli relations than any American president, and honestly, it includes Harry Truman. And there's no question about that. He has stood with the Israelis. He stared down the people who said, don't move the capital. He was giddy about recognizing the capital. You look at what Donald Trump has done, whether it's the Taylor Force Act, whether it's cutting off the PLO's money, whether it's cutting off UNRWA, even now, when you look, Israel needs the arms, Israel gets the arms. Are you kidding me? It's night and day. It is night and day, and I am proud that I voted for this man and support this man for president. He has appointed a man as ambassador who is absolutely fantastic. But no nukes for Iran. That's it. Case closed for me. I want to thank all of you patriots. I want to God bless you. Alex, your team, I've never seen anything like this. Absolutely fantastic. The people you brought. Kufi, I don't know if it was intended for both of you to be in the same place at the same time. I want us to give an applause for Christians United for Israel. To know this family is to love this family, but I want to tell you something. They are serious. We need the Christians. There's not enough of us. And let me tell you the truth. That Constitution that we Americans love, but for the Christians, that Constitution wouldn't exist. That Declaration of Independence that we love, but for the Christians, that Declaration of Independence wouldn't exist. The Judeo-Christian value belief system, we are attached at the hip. It's created the greatest country on the face of the earth, the United States of America, and it has created the only democracy that can stand up and fight against the enemy in the Middle East, and that is Israel. Christians and Jews, God bless you all. I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody who's been involved in this. God bless you.